You are a superstar. At least this book wants your miserable ass to think so. So badly, in fact, that nearly every ending is positive, but hey, we'll get to that in a minute. You Are a Superstar is book 91 in the series and was written by Edward Packard and illustrated by Stephen Marchesi. So, how did you get to be such a superstar? While swimming one day, you realize you can swim better than you have ever done before. You find out that you're better at baseball than ever before. Time slows down and you can run faster. In fact, you're better at everything and could probably do just about anything. The doctor says you have some rare genetic mutation that has changed your body and brain. So what do you want to do with your life? The first choice in this book is a whopping 7 different options. In this book, you have to choose between being a superstar in skiing, baseball, track, tennis, painting, music, or movies. Being in the movies isn't actually a choice in the beginning, but the various plots wrap around to it, and some of the branches do wrap back on the other ones. The book is notable for having many different storylines running, but the trade-off is very few choices to be made in each story. Each main path has basically only 1 or 2 choices throughout, and there are many pages before a choice comes up, yet there were lots of places where a choice would have been very appropriate. Rather, you're just told what you're going to do instead of letting the reader make a choice. Many of the paths were of no real significance and really should have just been eliminated from the book. Skiing, baseball, and tennis don't really contribute much and were boring, and the book would have been better served overall with their absence, and instead the extra space should have been used to fill out the other paths. So what about these various stories? In the musician path, you can become a rock star or a classical music star. As a rock star, you can join your favorite band and become super famous incredibly quick, earning all kinds of awards and even playing a show in Russia to the cheering communist youth workers. Even the guards and politicians are cheering. You are that good. The American president himself calls you and thanks you for what you've done for American-Russian relations. In 2018, that hits a little close to home. In the baseball story, you take part in the World Series. Now, I don't want to spoil anything, but
you are a superstar.
in the skiing story, you go up against the best skier there is, and either you are a superstar, or you're a dumbass and you break your leg. And then there's tennis. Hey, guess what? You're a superstar. And don't forget about the track storyline. You make it to the Olympics, and much to no one's surprise, including mine, you are a superstar. The artist path? Well, you become a great painter, and you wind up in the middle of a story that involves forgery and art theft. You're still a superstar, though. Don't sweat it, bro. Many of the stories loop around to either visiting the White House and trying to foil an espionage attempt, or winding up in Hollywood making a movie, or becoming a politician, or ending up in Hawaii drinking pineapple juice. The track story has enough to it that it was fine that it was part of the book, but the musician and artist lines really could have used a bigger plot line than they actually got. The funniest parts of the book definitely come from the musician story. Your big hit song is called
Caveman Boogie.
Yeah. This storyline could have benefited from more page space, especially since if you choose to be a classical musician, the story is immediately over. You like Mozart? Yeah, well suck it, kid. The end. In all fairness though, not many kids are probably into classical music, so I mean it made sense to cut the branch short, but really why even include it then? I mean just put more choices in the Rockstar story. Or better yet, expand on it. I mean maybe you were so good at piano you got into electronic music and you became the next Boards of Canada or Freesia. Well, okay, I guess if that happened you wouldn't actually be considered a superstar, but you'd be a hell of a lot more awesome than someone singing Caveman Boogie. The branch that finds you in Hawaii is probably the funniest part of the book since it has you going after a mysterious person who is killing pineapple trees. The reason you're after this person? You really like pineapple juice.
What the fuck?
So, those endings, there aren't many, and they're pretty much all positive. No matter what happens, mostly you are a superstar, or maybe you end up a sort of superstar. I mean, there's one ending that's not so superstar. You get shot to death in the street. You are super dead. Another story branch has a suicide in it, but not you though. You are a superstar. Basically, there's just way too many storylines trying to be juggled in such a short book. I mean, it was a commendable idea, but it just doesn't work. And this is also one of the cheesiest choose your own adventure books yet. I mean, I would classify this one as definitely below average and one of the worst choose your own adventure books I've ever read. Packard has written some real classics in this series, but this isn't one of them. Not by a long shot. The art by Stephen Marchesi is just as good as you would expect, but his artwork can't save this stinker of a book. By number 91, this series was definitely running out of steam when things like this were getting written and pushed out the door. Packard probably is just better when he sticks to things like science fiction or mystery kind of stories. And if you're looking for a choose your own adventure type of book with lots of storylines, you really need to not bother with this series. The books are just too short. And instead read something like Pretty Little Mistakes or You're a Miserable Excuse for a Hero, both of which are aimed at adults, a blast to read, and sprinkled with comedy gold. So, until next time, I wasted my time reading this book, and I hold you complicit because you watched this video.